Good morning, Jim.
Morning, Jim.
All right, Jim, so let's talk about the Lynx first as they win Game 1 of their WNBA Finals series last night at New York, coming from down 18, winning in overtime. Your thoughts on that Lynx win?
One of the great games in franchise history, one of the craziest basketball games I've ever seen, down 18 against a good team on the road, 2 days after clinching while New York was sitting home resting, and they make that comeback. Courtney Williams is the story of the night. I mean, Fee was great, and everybody had their moments, but my goodness, Williams just making clutch shot after clutch shot, making the right plays. Wow. To make that three-pointer, draw the foul when they needed that, amazing stuff. All kinds of drama with close officials calls in the last minute. Breanna Stewart, who right up there with the best players in the world, misses a free throw to send it to overtime. Then the Lynx end up winning it. Just an amazing performance.
Jim, so they take Game 1 and certainly put some pressure on New York for Game 2. God, I believe the majority of the teams that have won the WNBA Finals have won Game 1. Is that a huge advantage just psychologically to take Game 1, especially when it's on the road like this?
I don't know. We always talk about emotions and psychology. It's just a mathematical advantage. I mean, if you win, if the series is at the most 5 games long and you win one game, and especially you win it on the road, I mean, it's going to be a huge advantage. Sometimes it's an advantage because the better team wins. Sometimes it's an advantage because the lesser team wins, and as you said, puts the other team in a position of stress. But so yeah, it's great. Now they could very well lose games 2 and 3. You just don't know. But it's a big advantage, and also to me, it might have been the toughest game to win in the series. Because the Lynx, again, were coming off a late game night on Tuesday, fly to New York, play again on Thursday while the Liberty clinched on Sunday and got to sit home for 4 days. To win under those circumstances, I think makes it an even more important victory.
Jim, also last night, the Minnesota Wild opened their season with a 3-2 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Your thoughts on the Wild taking their first game?
Matt Boldy missed all of training camp with a lower body injury, and he was the best player on the ice last night. He was excellent. Scores a goal, hits a post, has a hockey assist, has a direct assist, just dominated the game. He looked fantastic. And, there are always a lot of little moments in hockey games that matter, but the big moments are all Boldies.
So they're able to win their first game. Philip Gustafson was the starter in net as we expected, as he had 31 saves. And they're going to go up against Seattle tomorrow night, and it's a back-to-back because they play Saturday, Sunday. You know what they're going to do with the goaltenders for those days? Not
sure yet. I probably should check more closely into that. I'm not sure how they're going to play that. I would guess that I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
Big news yesterday, the Twins, the Pohlad family is prepared to sell the team. Your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot to this one. Obviously, I've been covering the Twins since 1993. I've known most of the Pohlads at least a little bit. Once had the Pohlads basically boycott me, talking to me because I criticized Carl when he laid people off in 1994 during the strike. It's end of a very interesting era. Pohlads are the owners of the only 2 men's professional major sports titles in Minnesota history. Carl also was a terrible owner after that, late 90s, stripping payroll, putting the team up for contraction, telling a lot of lies and half-truths. Then the brothers took over, and they did help get a stadium built, and it's a beautiful stadium. They did that basically by removing Carl from the process. They had an excellent decade in the 2010s, although they didn't finish off with a championship. They had a big lull early 2010s, and they've won 3 of the last 6 division titles. But I'm writing a column about this. I'm glad the Pohlads are selling because their name had basically become the one-word answer to anything. Royce Lewis gives them a slump. Oh, dang Pohlads. The Twins choke in September. Dang Pohlads. It short-circuited all rational thought. It became the answer to everything. And the Pohlads, certainly would have preferred the Pohlads had spent more. Hoping the next owners will. We don't know if they will or who they'll even be. But we got to a point here where anybody who didn't know anything about baseball just gave you the one-word answer, and no matter what happened with the Twins.
Was that fair?
Again, you can certainly say, I think the Pohlads should have spent X more amount of dollars. I know that their median spending kind of hover around 18 or so. And if you add in the double markets like Bay Area, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, they're about the 18th largest market in Major League Baseball. So, it was easy to say Carl should have spent more. He was an independent billionaire near the end of his life, but the current setup, I don't know exactly how cash, how much cash on hand these people have. Most of their money's in investments and commercial real estate. So, it's just more complicated to criticize this group because you just don't know how much cash flow they actually have.
Jim, are there any potential local buyers that you're aware of?
Not yet. I think the Pohlads did surprise people by coming up with this. I think Joe Pohlad was just sitting there going, why am I taking this amount of abuse? So I really don't know. I don't think there's a local owner that makes sense right now. There will be somebody nationally who wants to get into sports and will look at this. And Twins fans just got to hope that person is more to their liking, which is not guaranteed.
Should there be any concern about the team being moved?
I mean, the lease is pretty strong, but what you don't want is you don't want an owner who wants to move it. Because whether they succeed in moving it or not, it can be just really ugly and it can feel a lot like blackmail. And I don't know if anybody really has a stomach for that right now. So, I don't think Major League Baseball wants to lose this market. You would hope that somebody buying here would appreciate having Target Field and just try to work with what they have, which is, again, 3 of the last 6 division titles and a team that, if some young hitters had come through this year, would have been in the playoffs.
Jim, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Kind of interesting how we talked about that, and then they see this, the idea that the Pohlads are going to sell, that there's no salary cap in baseball. There's not the revenue sharing you see in other sports. Is that still the heart of the problem? Yeah,
it's stupid. It's stupid and self-destructive. The NFL is the model, and the NBA has copied it, and obviously with changes because individual players are more important in the NBA. The NFL has proven that you can be an incredible success, that small markets compete with larger markets, that it can all come down to decision making, and it's fascinating. And those turn the NFL and NBA off seasons into just these incredible shows where anybody could go anywhere. And in baseball, that you're not going to outbid certain teams.
Some other things going on. The 49ers, 36-24 winners at Seattle. So Seattle got off to that fast start. They've lost 3 in a row. The 49ers get a win to get to 3-3. Your thoughts on that division and that game?
And Jordan Mason, who was replacing McCarthy, ends up getting hurt yesterday. We'll see how bad it is. 49ers pull it out. I still think the 49ers are probably the best team in the NFC. They just got to get healthier and get rolling. Seattle is one of those teams, but there are a lot of teams that get off to a hot start and can't sustain it. A lot of bad vibes with that Seattle team. Geno Smith didn't look happy the whole game. DK Metcalf's yelling at people on the sideline. They're wasting some really good offensive performances and players. Defense does not look very strong. But yeah, 49ers can get healthy. They're still very dangerous.
In the baseball playoffs yesterday, a couple of great games. The Guardians win at the Tigers 5-4 to force a game 5 of that series. The Yankees got just enough offense. They beat the Royals 3-1 to win that series. Your thoughts?
Crazy seeing 3 American League Central teams, battling it out on the same day. Scooble is going for Detroit in Game 5. He hasn't given up a run in the postseason. That is going to be much-watched TV against 2 division rivals. And then, the Yankees look pretty good right now. And the Royals had a great season and a very promising season for them. Of course, if the Twins had played the way they're capable of in September, Royals wouldn't have made the playoffs, and we'd be talking about the Twins in the playoffs.
And then we got a Game 5 tonight between the Padres and Dodgers.
Yeah, and that will be a very rowdy affair. Southern California, I know like Philly probably has the worst fans, and Boston can have really difficult fans. But I've seen some of the worst fan behavior I've ever been around in Southern California, especially around this rivalry. It gets a little nasty. It's got nasty on the field. Going to be very high emotions tonight.
Timberwolves got a preseason game. They take on the 76ers. That game, I believe, is in Iowa tonight. Preseason game. Your thoughts on Wolves in the preseason?
Just interesting to watch who gets the minutes. Again, they got about 13 players they could play. So who gets the minutes, who plays together, who looks like they want to play together. Is Joe Ingles going to play significant minutes or just be an extra guy on the bench? Can Terrence Shannon Jr. be a part of the rotation? Can Minot and Garza keep pushing for playing time? Just a lot of interesting subplots now that we're done with the big plots.
Gopher football's got a game on the road at UCLA tomorrow night. If they win, they go to 4-3, and that would be wins against a couple of Southern California teams. Your thoughts on the Gophers' chances of winning that game?
Well, if they play the way they played against USC, I mean, this is more of this is an emotional test. They win the biggest game they've won in a long time. Then they got to get up on a plane and go play a team that doesn't command quite as much respect. Can they maintain? Because I think they're the better team, and I think that I think the USC victory really changes the way you look at this team. They were very disappointing early, but if they can beat USC and keep it rolling, then all of a sudden there's a brand new ceiling for this group.
Jim, on Sunday morning, the Bears are playing in London against the Jaguars. The Bears are 3-2. Caleb Williams seems like he's been playing better lately. If the Bears go to 4-2, I mean, should we be talking about the Bears as a team that could be a playoff team?
Sure. Yeah. Very good defense. They are running the ball well. They have talent at receiver. They have talent at tight end. Caleb Williams, I want to see it again. He played well against the Panthers. I think the Panthers are a mess right now, so I don't want to read too much into that. But he is talented, and he is playing better. And now can he sustain it? And actually, honestly, the Jaguars are not much of it. They're not very good either. So he could win another game here, and we still might not know how good they are. And they'd be 4-2 and a threat to the lead.
All right, Jim, what do you got in your podcast?
We have Jeff Diamond's Vikings and NFL Insider out talking about the league and the Vikings and prospects going forward. We have Preps Day with John Millay out. Let's see, we have Dawn Mitchell show with Amy Hockert, and Randy Shaver show is out, and everything's at talknorth.com or on your favorite podcast app. All
right, Jim, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday.
Great. Thanks, Jay.
That's Jim Souhan, Star Tribune sports columnist, joining us every weekday morning at this time. Follow him on Twitter at SouhanStrib. Check out his latest column in the Star Tribune or his podcast at talknorth.com. Jim, once again, today is brought to you by the Green Mill in downtown St. Cloud. Next on WJON, world and national news from ABC, followed by local news.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Get the facts. For your free timeshare exit info kit, go to iCancelTimeshare.com. That's iCancelTimeshare.com. iCancelTimeshare.com.